He said he'd be watching.
Okay. All right, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Perry Municipal Authority. It's May 6th, 2019, at 6:15. Roll call, please.
Bond.
Here.
Seabolt. Here. Ahern.
Here.
White.
Here.
Morrell.
Here.
Lines. Stroller.
Here. Okay, I do declare a quorum. I'll give the invocation tonight if y'all will please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to gather here this evening to conduct the business of the city. I just ask that you be with each and every one of us and clear our minds and let us do the business that we need to take care of, and let all the business be in the best interest of the city. Clear us of any agendas in our own mind. Dear Heavenly Father, we just ask that everything we do tonight will, in the end, will glorify you. I pray this through your Son's name. Amen. All right. Item number 1 is the consent agenda. We only have one item on the consent agenda. It's to receive and approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Bond.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Thank you. Any comments from those assembled? It's pertaining to the PMA this evening. Seeing none, we will move on. Item number 6, presentation of the competitive youth. I did? Oh, I apologize, yeah. Okay. Proclamation, commendations, reports, inquiries by the governing body. Just a second, I'm sorry. Seeing none, we will move to item number 6. Presentation of the Competitive Utility Program $20,000 grant award. This evening, Palma Law will be here to award the grant. Ma'am?
Thank you. Appreciate being here. It's my privilege and pleasure to be here and present, Mayor, to you and the council here for a check over $20,000 in the city's recertification in the CUP program, and CUP is Competitive Utility Program. Just a little bit about that, because I think it's worth mentioning. This takes a lot of effort, as it does with getting money from anywhere. It does take effort. The city staff, Dixie, Autumn, Brian, other staff members, they have to attend so many training hours each year. Part of it requires that there be a written system maintenance plan, a written marketing plan, an emergency action plan that is meant to go into conjunction with the police and the fire, because a lot of emergencies involve electric, as you know, with outages and whatnot, and when you try to determine when outside help is needed. And so that's involved as part of this emergency action plan. Let's see, there's tracking your reliability, keeping track of those outages so that you can be able to tell how many outages per year and per customer and those type of things. And it comes out in indices that are nationally recognized with other electric utilities. I mentioned training surveys have to be done every couple of years. And programs for the customer, energy services programs for the customer are part of it. You have to do so many programs. This includes anything from average billing to participate in the Call Open program. There's a lot of different things. Have a mutual aid program. So again, a lot of work goes into this. Perry has been certified in this program since 2005.
Wow.
So quite a while. And while the certification is good for 2 years, every year, as long as the program is kept up with these requirements, the city still gets a $20,000 check.
That's good.
May not get someone coming here and doing the big check, but as long as the work's done, there's a review committee that looks at it and goes through it, and if they approve it and recommend it to our board, the board approves it and gives another $20,000. So, and then you get discounts off your power invoice from OMPA during the winter months. I believe it was 4 awards, 4 or 5? 4 awards that Perry qualified for this year. So that's quick math. roughly 50 cents per kilowatt that comes off the bill during the winter months. That adds up. So sometimes the 20,000 doesn't even compare to the dollar value that comes off of the power invoice from OLPA during those winter months. So I'd like to congratulate these folks with the city for maintaining this program and keeping up with it.
I would like for you to present that to Autumn and Dixie. Brian Wheatley, as y'all know, we had a storm go through and he was out long hours and he had to go home, I guess.
He needs some rest.
Yeah, so if you guys would like to accept that check, that would be nice.
While they're coming up, one of the things I want to mention too is there's also these cup plaques. You may see them. I have two. These are updated each year with the certification dates. One is taken to City Hall and the other one for Brian to keep at his shop. So.
Where would Gloria like us for the picture? Where would Gloria like for us to do?
I would picture right here and they can come to these brothers.
Now you're gonna do it.
That means we all move. We're good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, we will move on to item number 7, review water purchase contract with Noble County Rural Water District Number 1. If you remember right, this was on our last agenda, and Russ didn't want to approve it until the water district had signed off on it and agreed. And if you look in your packet, that they have signed that agreement and agreed to the terms. So we'll just need a motion to approve the contract with them.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Bond?
Yes.
Seabolt? Yes. Ahern?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Morrow?
Yes.
Stroller?
Yes. Item number 8.
I was just, we also had Rural Water District 2 on the agenda previously, and they actually are meeting tonight, in case anybody had any questions. So we should see that at the next meeting, provided they approve tonight.
Thank you. New business. Is there any new business that needs to come before the PMA this evening? Seeing none, item number 9.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call please.
Bond?
Yes.
Seabolt? Yes. Ahern?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Morrow?
Yes.
Stroller?
Yes. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of City Perry, May 6th, 2019 at 6:24. Roll call, please.
Bond?
Here.
Seabolt? Here. Ahern?
Here.
White?
Here.
Morrow?
Here.
Wines? Stroller?
Here. I do declare a quorum. Item number 1 is the consent agenda. There's a whole list of things on the consent agenda this evening. We can approve them as they are, or we can look at something if y'all want to draw something out.
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Bond?
Yes.
Seabolt?
Yes.
Ahern?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Morrow?
Yes.
Stroller?
Yes, thank you. Any comments this evening from those assembled about the council meeting? Seeing none, item number 5, proclamation, commendations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. Anyone have any questions? Seeing none. City manager's remarks.
Thank you, Your Honor. Russell, would you come up and make a few comments about the decision to not engage the sirens last night?
Sure. First off, I'd like to give a shout out, if you don't mind, to police department, fire guys, electric, streets. This is a very long night. It's been a very long day. There was a lot of questions regarding the decision not to sound the tornado sirens in our community last night. Number one, when the storm approached Perry from the west, there was no supercell that this tornado was attached to. That was verified by the program manager with Oklahoma Methanet from the University of Oklahoma earlier today. We've been following up on this thing all day long. So because there was no supercell to track a tornado, there was never an ability for us to monitor a tornadic storm. At 11:58 p.m. last night, about 15 minutes after it passed through Perry, the National Weather Service ramped it up to a tornado warning northeast of Perry. Because the storm was already east of the corporate city limits of Perry, where the warning system is at, we didn't want to sound the sirens when the tornado's already. The rotating storm has already made its way east of town and is now moving further east. So those sirens weren't sounded because it wasn't an approaching storm that we could give adequate warning to the citizens of Perry because it had already, the potential for that tornado coming down was already passed. There will be somewhat of a formal after-action review that we will do, and we'll work in conjunction with the Noble County Storm Spotters Association, the Noble County Public Safety Association, which is all 8 fire departments in the county. There were several of those guys out last night, several of the volunteer departments, as well as Noble County Emergency Management. So what we want to do is just sit down and as a group of responders and weather watchers to determine what systems we have in place that we saw work very well last night, and some of those that need some work just in the response. And so we've spent a large part of the day just evaluating our capabilities and where some of those systems need to be improved on, and some of those systems we think we need to keep moving forward with because they work very well. So we did. I wanted to thank Gloria too. She invited Jim Smith and I, the county emergency manager, down today, and so for using the digital media platform, we were able to explain to people in a quicker sense rather than waiting for a print form to come out in a few days. We wanted to go ahead and get that information out. So I appreciate Gloria inviting us down to give us that opportunity. There was a lot of confusion. There's still confusion right now. This storm right here comes right on the heels of the previous storm that did the same thing. It ramped up right south of Perry. Just so you know, our protocol and our standing protocol that has been in place for years and years and years is we don't sound the sirens until that tornado or that rotating cell is approaching at 5 miles or closer into Perry. That's just always been the protocol. That will also be evaluated to see if that's adequate time. We had our personnel, if it's too close to the city of Perry, we advise our personnel that we have a tornado that's spun up rapidly. We don't want our responders trying to get out. We want them to secure their families and protect in place, because at that point we're reaction anyway, and so we want to make sure that the responders we have are going to be safe and their families are safe. So once the tornado passes, they're able to make it to the fire station and respond with an emergency apparatus. So I will definitely, I would like to follow up after our after-action is completed with those other organizations, just to make sure that we touch on those items and discuss the things we can improve on.
Any questions for Russell?
you know, in addition to the departments that you mentioned, Will Sheets was up all night helping Vernon do what he needed to do. Dixie and Tyson were all through the night as well. And then today, city staff answering phones, trying to field questions as best they can. So it was definitely a team effort all through the night. You know, we pray that we won't have to do that again tonight, but we're ready if we have to. And I know that you've been up all night, so you're dismissed. Thank you.
Well, I got one question for you real quick. Years ago, I'd heard this, and I don't know if it's true, but someone told me that if there's a storm coming and you know that it's coming, that you would take your emergency vehicles and leave the firehouse, get them out away from the storm.
We will. And historically, I think that's only been done twice, just because it's rare that we've had those cells approach Perry like that. But the two times that I can remember, it was, they were both rain wrapped. There was a lot of large hail. And the purpose behind that is we don't want everything located in one building and then the building being destroyed and hitting all the equipment. So we do just disperse in different directions. Again, because we know our primary objective is rescue after an incident. So we just want to make sure that we've got that equipment and the vehicles necessary to be able to get to the places we need to. So, but that's still our protocol if we can get. And we notify personnel as long as we've got that time.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of debates that have taken place over the years that continually resurface this time of year, and that's, you know, public safety shelters is one, and just if I could take a moment just to discuss those. The reason we don't have public shelters anymore is because what we found is when we would sound the sirens, everyone would jump in their vehicles and try to drive to a public shelter, and that's when they were in the most dangers, when they were trying to get to the shelter. So just to hit that one more time, that's why we don't have the public shelter anymore. So.
Thank you, Russell. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Real quick, ODOT starts their first sidewalk project either tomorrow or the next day. They've got all their cones and barricades up, so this ought to be a great project. They're gonna start on 15th Street and work on the south side of Fur all the way to 8th Street. And they'll repeat that on the north side. So it's gonna be a good project for our community. It'll look really nice by the time it's done. Thank you, sir.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Item number 7, consider appointment of a vice mayor for the city council for a term of 2 years. Every 2 years we do this for the first meeting in May. It's in our charter that way. I would like to nominate Councilman Ahern for that position.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bond.
Yes.
Seabold.
Yes.
Ahern.
Abstain.
White.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Thank you. All right, item number 8, consider appointment of qualified persons to council person for, let me read that again. Consider appointment of qualified person to council person for Ward 1, Seat 1, and Ward 4, Post 2.
Mayor, I would like to make a nomination for Earl Hicks's seat, which would be the ward that I'm in, which would be Ward 1, Seat 1.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to nominate Danette Marshall. Many of you probably know Danette, but if you don't, I asked her just to give me some brief background. Danette has lived here for over 20 years. She has 3 kids in the school district and 2 older kids outside of the school. She has a granddaughter. She's worked at Ditch Witch for 10 years in the IT department. She's worked in leadership capacities for the public schools. She currently works as a substitute teacher and an accounting advisor for Jenny Wade's office, which is now known as Weimer Brownlee. And some of you might know her as the wife of Brad Marshall, who served on this council for many years. So I just think her background, her leadership, her knowledge, even being married to Brad, will really be a real asset to the council.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Second.
I have a nomination also. Can I make a nomination?
We already have a nomination on the floor,
Okay.
so we'll have to proceed with that. And then we can come back to it if it didn't pass. Roll call, please.
Bond.
Yes.
Seabold. Yes. Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, Ward 4, Post 2. I would like to make that nomination because that is my seat that I vacated. I would like to nominate Betty Warner for that seat. Betty has been on the council for 8 years? 10 years, I can remember, she was here when I came. And Betty showed interest in being back on the council because she ran for that position. Also, Betty shows up at a lot of council meetings that we have. She's very interested in what we're talking about, what we're doing on this council. And I can just remember back whenever she was on the council, she's been off for 4 years now. She was a huge asset to us. So my nomination would be Betty Warner for that seat that I vacated.
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Vaughn,
No.
Seabolt,
Abstain.
Ahern,
Yes.
White.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
No, okay. Morrell,
No.
Stroller.
Yes. Okay. All right, that nomination did not pass.
Bill, do you want Danette to take the oath of office then? Or she just,
Uh,
are we prepared for that?
I do not have an oath with me.
Okay. I didn't know. She's
yeah.
here.
Yeah,
She should come next time.
yeah. Well, if we don't have an oath,
That's fine.
Okay, we'll open the floor back up then.
I'd like to nominate Derek Coldiron.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Seabolt,
Yes.
Ahern,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Morrell,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. All right, there we go. We have our council full once again. For a moment, All right.
It's not too late.
I think it is.
Did you send it certified?
Certified is silly. I don't even want to entertain that comment.
All right, let's move on before we get ourselves in trouble. Item number 9, consider approval of ordinance number 2019-08 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma pertaining to the Perry Municipal Swimming Pool, amending Chapter 11 of Perry Municipal Code 2018 supplement by an amendment of Section 11-400 entitled Swimming Pool Fees, providing for an establishment of pool hours by the city manager, providing for an amendment to Chapter 18 of the Perry Municipal Code 2018 supplement, entitled Fee Schedule by the amendment of Section 11-400A entitled Swimming Pool Fees, providing for certain increases in fees at the Perry Municipal Swimming Pool, providing for repealer, savings, codification, severability, and declaring an emergency. You pay that attorney way too much money.
He is verbose, yes.
Yeah, all right, Larry, would you take this? I know that it's got your name in it, and you will be making the decisions on this, so I would like you to have a discussion with the council about this.
We think that it's time to raise the fees. For many years, it's been $1 and also $2. We think it's time to raise it. This recommendation comes from Brenda Stotz, our park superintendent. She wanted to do it last year as well. So we brought this up again this year. We think it's still affordable, very affordable for the hours that the pool is open. And we will talk with Brenda again, it's exactly what the hours are gonna be. We'll post those here shortly. The day after Memorial Day will be the first opening. We have a new pool manager. And we finally got staffed with our lifeguards, or real close to it.
We're close.
Real
We're
close,
doing
all right.
interviews tomorrow.
I want to say it's been nip and tuck. We've spent many weeks thinking, we're not gonna do that this year. We just, so, at the very last minute, it came to fruition, and I appreciate that. And some of that was from others in the community that do not sit on this governing body, that gave us some names and helped us put that together. So, again, another team effort for the city of Perry, excuse me. That's our recommendation.
Larry, I have one request when everybody gets together on this, before we vote on this. If you're gonna be in charge, or you're gonna have a big part of setting the hours, I've tried to get it changed for years, since this is open on Sundays. I've got a lot of constituents that's the only time they have to spend with their families, and the pool's historically been closed on Sundays. So I would like that to be taken into account,
Okay.
because there's an awful big need for that.
Okay.
I think in the past, we've had problems with staffing on Sunday. I was thinking that was probably the issue.
That could be, yeah. Okay. Thank you, appreciate that. We'll do that.
Any other discussion?
Why did she choose to go up those rates? I mean, did she call around? What was the maker on that?
I think that she just thought that it was reasonable. It wasn't too high, and yet it wasn't just $1. She thought it was, so
So did-
it's probably a gut decision more than anything.
So she didn't call and?
Not that I know of, no. And our pool is a little bit different than some of the others as well.
Do we have the capability of the parents buying like a season pass for the kids?
No.
Is that a bad idea?
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The country club does a seasonal pass, but it's $200.
Do they do a daily pass? I mean, a daily fee?
They do if you come with a member.
So there's not,
And I wanna say it's $5.
if you come with the member?
Yes.
Isn't it a limited amount of times too,
No, if you buy these seasonal, you can buy a restaurant and pool pass, and I think it's like $300, but just the pool, I believe, is $200 for the summer.
though? Yeah, I was talking about if you brought it for the guests.
Yeah, you gotta bring a guest, and you have to come with a guest or a member, and the guest has to pay $5.
But how many times can that guest come?
Anytime, as long as they pay $5 and
Okay.
come with that member, so that's $5 a day there.
I think that it would be beneficial if some availability to have some kind of season pass
Okay.
For these families.
Larry, do you know, I know you don't know off the top of your head, but do you have stats or anything on volume of usage?
No, do not.
Is that, so that's not taken, or you don't have it? I'm just curious in terms of like how many people come,
Right.
what ages, kind of, you know, like adults, kids. I'd even be interested, I mean, I don't want to be too anal about it, but I mean, like, how many are repeat people? How many people use the pool multiple times? Is it a one-shot deal? Those are decisions that will help you, I mean, those are things that'll help you make decisions about season passes. And if you got the same people coming every single day, season pass would make sense, but if you only have people sporadically using it, obviously that's not of any benefit, so. I just wasn't sure if Brenda or whoever, you know, had some kind of system of counting how many people come there approximately.
Brenda's still here.
Huh?
She's still here.
It's not critical, I'm just,
I would,
I think it'd just be important information in the future.
I mean, if it was me guessing, I bet better than 50% of the kids are there very often.
Same kids.
Yeah, if I was to guess, but.
I think I mean, they could start keeping a tally, like they turn in the money at City Hall,
Mhm.
and they're supposed to keep it separate, how much is entry money and how much is concessions that they've sold. But we still don't know on that entry fee, how many are adults and how many are children. We don't have a breakdown like that.
But it is something we certainly can do. I think it's helpful.
Well, it might be helpful for future decisions.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Last year, you had mentioned that maybe the pool was a drain on our budget. Is that still the case? And will these numbers increasing help it or make any difference at all? And what is your opinion, Russ?
The increases in these revenues, whenever we go back to the daily count, whenever we were looking at what the total is, this isn't gonna raise more than $5,000 for the entire summer, in total increases by doing this. Likewise, the drain and the net cost of running the swimming pool was well over $90,000 to us last year. So, no, is it going to, it's not gonna put a dent in the bucket. What it is gonna do though is it's gonna put a value on, some value on coming to the pool.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 2019-08 for the city council and the city of Perry swimming pool.
Would you include in that for Larry to consider?
Yes, I would like to
a
get the
season pass
demographics.
And consider a Sunday?
Yes, and consider Sundays open. Thank you.
Second.
Good. Is there any more discussion? Everybody understand what we're voting on? All right, roll call, please.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Seabold.
No.
Ahern.
Yes.
White.
No.
Morrow.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Order two passes. Thank you.
Do we need to declare an emergency?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Motion to declare an emergency.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Seabold.
Yes.
No again?
I said yes.
Oh, yes, okay, sorry.
I mean, it's emergency, it's already passed. It doesn't matter what I say.
Ahern.
Yes.
White. Morrow.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. All right, item number 10, consider approve.
Emergency can't pass anyway, we have to have 7 for emergency and only 6 here.
Oh,
So emergency.
right.
That's what I
It's not
was
gonna pass.
thinking.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't even notice that before we called it.
I didn't think about that.
Let me rescind my motion.
So, they'll leave it as suspension.
You're gonna have to publish it,
Yeah.
and likewise on the next one.
We can't declare an emergency next week.
You just have to
You can
hold
just
the whole
hold it
ordinance
until
till
next time, yes.
Just the emergency part.
Yeah, you have to
No,
hold the
well, the
whole
ordinance till next time.
Yeah.
So you can go back and revisit that and say you don't want to do it this time, but that's your call.
Well,
The only problem, if we do that, how much emergency is it if we can wait 2 weeks?
Yeah.
We kind of missed the point. That's kind of like saying, oh, we're just not gonna address it because we don't want to have to publish the whole thing. That's avoiding what the real emergency is. Without legal counsel here, I'm gonna at least interject that. My suggestion, we did that one, publish it.
yeah.
If you choose to table 10 and move on, that's
Yeah,
fine.
and 10 appears to me to not be a situation that, I mean, something we're probably doing now, but,
Actually, I can address that. Do you want to start, you want to read this one in and then I can tell you?
You probably didn't want to read it.
I don't wanna read all that, I don't really wanna read all that.
Did you know that was part of the job description?
No, I don't mind. I can read it and you give us discussion and then we can table it.
That works.
Does that sound fair?
Sounds fair.
All right, consider approval of ordinance 2019-09. Of the city of Perry, Oklahoma, amending chapter 2 of the Perry Municipal Code 2018 supplement by the amendment of section 2-701 subsection 2, amending the term city treasurer to city, or for chief financial officer, by amending the section 2-704 subsection A by providing that the article applies to the provision of digital records by the amendment of section 2-705 subsection 7, providing that the procedure applies to digital records when determining fees. By amending section 2-712, providing that the prepayment of fees apply to the provision of the digital record, by amending the section 2-713 containing in chapter 18 by providing for fees for digital records and providing for increased costs of certain records, providing for repealer, savings, codification, severability, and declaring an emergency. Discussion, please.
Okay, well, the changing from treasurer to chief financial officer is just, that just part hadn't been updated since we did the charter. The other part is, digital records just were never addressed in our cost, because, you know, years ago, people didn't ask for it digitally, you gave it in paper copies. Now, more all the time, people want it, can you email it to me, can you fax it to me, can you, and our code just doesn't address that. But the thing is, whether I'm giving them a piece of paper or not, it's taking the same amount of time and effort and work to compile the records they want and put it together. So, just to avoid the problem down the road, somebody saying, well, you know, because now they already think, well, you're not gonna charge me if I email it, you know? And it just doesn't feel right to charge somebody when you hand them a piece of paper and you spend just as much or more time compiling it and then scanning it and getting ready to email them. So it just seems only right that whoever wants the records pays for the time and effort involved.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would suggest we table this until our next meeting.
Motion to table ordinance 2019-09
Second.
until the next meeting.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bond.
Yes.
Seabolt.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item number 11, consider approval of Mayor Bill Stroller, City Manager Larry Pennell, City Clerk Dixie Johnson, Russ Meacham, and Meredith Meacham Wilson, Chief Financial Officers, as authorized signers for security pledges at financial institutes. This is something that whenever we have a turnover in the council and we elect new mayor, and we just have to renew this.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Bond.
Yes.
Seabolt.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. All right, item number 12, now we can spend some money. Consider approval of payment of invoice in the amount of $7,097.75 to MKEC Engineering for engineering and survey services on 2018-2019 street improvement, Park and Park Drive and 8th Street, and an invoice in the amount of $1,893.75 to MKEC for construction support for 2018 street improvement, project pay apps, review, and correspondence. This is engineering and things that MKEC has done for us that we haven't gotten paid for. So, we've seen this. Do we see this on the last agenda? It seemed like to me we've seen this.
They've been doing work on Park Drive in Park
Yeah, for some.
for some time, yes, sir. We continue to have issues with utilities, close to us.
Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve both invoices.
Thank you.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bond.
Yes.
Seabolt.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item number 13, consider approval of payment of invoice to Northern Oklahoma Development Authority as a partial payment for the CDBG administrative fee for Phase 3 of the Master Sewer Project in the amount of $2,559.80. They're the ones, Dixie, help me on this, they're the ones that wrote the grant?
They
Or help
write
us with
it,
the
they
grant?
administrate it, and also these funds, this $2,559 will come from CDBG funds, and provided we approve this tonight, that's already been approved, so we'll be receiving the payment back from the Department of Commerce on that as soon as we write the check.
And this is for Phase 3 sewer project, which hopefully any day now.
You do that?
Could you drive by some of that? I mean, half of it's underwater still.
Any discussion? It was last night, it's all proceeded now.
I'll let you go out and drive on it today.
Motion to approve the invoice. Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bond.
Yes.
Seabolt. Yes. Ayer.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Consider approval of payment of invoice in the amount of $32,980.49 to Urban Contractors LLC for services performed at the sewer lift station, which work was directed pursuant to the city manager's declaring an emergency. All right, last Friday, 2 Fridays ago now?
Last
We,
Friday.
two Fridays ago.
Yep, 2 Fridays.
Uh,
26th.
You all remember that we've been talking about Phase 4 sewer project, and that was to replace the lift pumps at the lift station, 2 of them. Well, we knew one of them had already went bad, and Friday morning, the sewer and water crew determined that the other one went bad, so we were without a pump, period. We had no way to lift the sewer from the lift station to the sewer plant. So, through Vernon and his crew, and Larry and Dixie, and Willie Sheets, and multitude of people, jumped into action. They declared, Larry had to declare an emergency, and he did that right away. We tried to get Walter Morgan in here that was going to replace the pumps anyway. They were unable to be here. Urban Contractors have done a multitude of workforce here in town already. They contacted those folks. They said that they could come. There's a bypass that was part of the original agreement with Walter Morgan. And so Urban Contractors installed that bypass and put a portable pump in place and attached it to that bypass. And so now we have, we're pumping just like we were before, but it's with a diesel-powered pump until Walter Morgan can get here. Now, Walter Morgan did agree to reduce their costs. Blaine Reilly, our engineer, is drawing up a new, I guess you call it a contract, a new contract with Walter Morgan, and they're all right with that, to subtract the bypass off of their work description. Those guys.
They should be here next week.
Those guys worked really hard. They found it at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm guessing, somewhere in that neighborhood. And they fired that pump off just right before midnight. So they were out there a long, long day. So this is to pay Urban Contractor for their work that they did. And it seems like a lot of money for a few hours worth of work, but they saved our bacon.
It was important work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, your water, I always said, it was telling some people, your water can go off for a little while, and that's okay. Your electricity can go off for a little while, and that's okay. But your sewer department cannot collapse. And there's no options there. So anyway, I just want to give a shout out to the sewer department also. Man, I tell you what, it was unbelievable what they did. So anyway, here we are. We need to pay Urban Contractors for what they did that day.
Motion to approve the payment of the invoice in the amount of $32,980.49 to Urban Contractors LLC.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Bond.
Yes.
Seabolt,
Yes.
Haver,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Item number 15. Consider approval of an offer of Lamp Post Homes LLC for the sale of, it's 1002 Fifth Street for $1,000. We have a home that burnt down, and we cleared it. The property owner gave us
You did too, yeah.
title to the property. Now the city owns it. And the way I understand, we went out for bids,
Correct.
and there were no bids. So this Lamp Post Homes said that they would give us $1,000 for it. I think the bid said it had to be $999.99. So he come to us later, which I don't want to hide from you, is our code officer, our code inspector for buildings,
Yeah, our building.
building inspector. There was also an inquiry today about this piece of property. I don't know how interested they are, but there was an inquiry today. So we can either table this and see what the new inquiry was, or we can move on. Now then, Larry, would you explain just a little bit about the procedure of someone inspecting him, since he is our building inspector?
We have reached out to the building inspector in Guthrie, who will come up and inspect his work, and the fee that he charges us, Craig, our Lamp Post Homes, will remit the whole thing. So we're made 100% gold all the way through that. He wants to make certain that he's not involved in any of that inspection at all, and I applaud him for that. I don't know the person that called this afternoon or today, but the first name was someone that I had called when we were gonna advertise that, because her brother was interested in it, and I promised her that as soon as we were gonna go out for bid, as soon as we posted it and advertised it, I would call her. I did that, left a voicemail, did our part, and there were still no bids.
And so that's the lady that contacted today, is that what you're saying?
That's at least the first name, the last name I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You know,
All right.
sorry.
We can do what we want to, okay?
Yeah.
There was a bid letting on the thing and asked for bids. The only, and maybe, the letter that come from Larry, and maybe I'm just misreading this, but I have a problem with is, it says under your tab in the back, under item 15, says to eliminate any possible conflict. We're talking about the guy from, the gentleman or woman, whoever it is, the inspector from Guthrie coming here. That's what we're talking about. To eliminate any possible conflict, he has spoken to the building inspector in Guthrie, who will do all inspections for any home Lamp Post builds in Perry, and Craig will pay the inspection fees. So it sounds like to me that Craig is hiring an inspector to come inspect him. And that's where I get real caught up on it. I don't think that, I mean, I appreciate him paying fees. Maybe this is the way, maybe I'm just misinterpreting this because of the way it's read. But I don't think that, I mean, if I was building a house, I'd sure like to go hire my own inspector, you know? So that is the only thing that bothered me, and maybe I'm misinterpreting what I'm reading here, but that's the way it's written. So I don't know how we overcome that, but.
We can table this, let me look on my own, and go from there, and bring it back next time. And we can have an opportunity to talk to this lady that called today.
Yeah.
Motion to table it till the
Second.
next meeting.
Well, any further discussion? Okay, I went to a planning commission meeting, and Mr. Higley made the comment that he was gonna build some homes here in Perry, and that he wanted to be able to build a home within the code specs. Because there's a lot of people that give him grief because, you know, they're trying to build a home, and he's giving them a hard time, and he wanted to show that he could build a home within the specs of what the code is. And I applaud him for that. But I just wanna make sure that there's not any discrepancies in who's inspecting and who's paying for it. So, anyway, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Bond.
Yes.
Seabold.
Yes.
Eckhart.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. All right, item number 16, is there any new business that needs to come before the council tonight? Seeing none, item 17, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Roll call, please.
Bond.
Yes.
Seabold.
Yes.
Eckhart.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you.